won, the hot guys won.
And these girls wasted no time in getting after it. I tell you what, if this is an indication, we're in for a big, fun night.
Well, right there, a little bit of pushing and shoving. Katie Cooper trying to take advantage of one of the Quakes with her back turned. But it is 1-1. We're all tied up in this opening match. Remember, laying in wait for the winner are the defending three-time leaders of the pack, New York Enforcers, in tonight's mega match. And now Heather Sunderman breaks free, comes recipient of a whip, and it's Laura Weintraub. Heather Sunderman and Laura Weintraub. A lot of speculation as to whether Sunderman is or isn't a part of the Bod Squad. Amy Craig, a real speedster for California, now out along with Weintraub and Sunderman. We're all tied up at one, and a great double elbow by Weintraub puts down both the California Quakes. Golden opportunity here for Weintraub.
Well, Amy Craig, one of those Quakes that has really picked up the slack as the California Quakes women have seemed to have a bit of an attitude problem. Amy Craig doesn't say too much, but she seems to have come to play the last several weeks.
Now Stacy Blitz calling her off. Weintraub, Stacy Blitz hanging back and interesting, all by herself. None of her other teammates helping her. But right now, the battle, Stacy Blitz doing it all by herself, and that time you can't argue with success. Turns around and puts Laura Weintraub down. In fact, Weintraub kind of gets up, has a few words to say to Stacy Blitz, but Hawk.
And here you see the two Quakes go down at the elbow of Laura Weintraub. And here you see Stacy Blitz pick it up.
Blitz did it all by herself.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team, email, players, fans. You can buy your favorite Jam merchandise all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
So far, it's been very interesting. Stacy Blitz seeming to do all the blocking by herself. Hawk, it's almost like the rest of her teammates want no part of her.
Well, the Bod Squad have stated that they don't like each other, and the two, the person of Cindy Zimmerman and Jamie Konomak, have all but ignored Stacy Blitz other than being on the track.
Well, right now, we're all knotted up at one. It's now breaking free. This looks like this Kim on. It's Lauren Weintraub again coming out. Mindy Smith ahead, blocking for Weintraub, and here comes Amy Craig. Laura Weintraub is certainly a slower skater than Amy Craig, and down she goes. And that Hawk well could have been. She's just winning. That was the third straight champ she'd been out on. And look at Sean Atkinson. What's he doing on the track?
Well, when you saw Sean Atkinson out there hooping and hollering, that's got to be against some kind of World Skating League rule. But we've already talked about Amy Craig as really having come to play with the Bod Squad, the three quick women in disarray. Amy Craig again showing that she can perform in the face of adversity.
And Shea Brown, the biggest skater out of Greensboro, North Carolina, back for the hot dice. But Amy Craig flew right by her. Nice flip play right there from Stacy Blitz. A good jam by Amy Craig, putting the Quakes points on the board.
Well, and I got to take my hat off to Laura Weintraub. Right here you see Amy Craig sends her to the ground, and you notice her helmet comes off there, Ken. Right there again in the replay that you saw her just out of the screen, her helmet was still off. She played almost that entire jam without her helmet, was not worried, definitely put her team's needs before her own.
2-1 Quakes. Certainly discretionary call by the referees of the WSL. If the helmet comes off accidentally, they allow the jam to go on, and that's exactly what happened there. Now Mindy Smith out of Greensboro, North Carolina, the fastest skater for the Nevada Hot Dice, breaks free. A good look at Smith, 5'4", 117 pounds. Right now all alone. Now Amy Craig once again trying to catch up to her.
But I wonder what happens if somebody's pants fall off. Will they stop it then? I hope not.
Why does that comment from you not surprise?
Unless Sean Atkinson's pants fall off, then we have to stop the rolling again.
Mindy Smith trying to get by the double block, couldn't do it. Stacy Blitz now back getting some help from one of her teammates. And now Smith comes by again, tries to block it, and down goes Stacy Blitz. Mindy Smith now goes by virtue of Stacy Blitz going down, putting some points on for the Hot Dice. Mindy Smith now goes into the boards, and I don't know if I didn't quite pick up the number. Who was that that nailed her?
I believe that was Brooke Sunderman, if I'm not mistaken. Right here you get a good shot of the physical play going on. Right there, that's Brooke Sunderman there. She was definitely having her way with Mindy Smith, and I believe Shea Brown and some of the other Hot Dice. It's really starting to get physical out there, Ken. And right there in that last jam you saw, Amy Craig was bending over a little bit fatigued, and we're still only in the first period.
It is still 2-1 Quakes. You're exactly right, Hart. This now coming out is Kim Hart and Heather Sunderman. I would have to say right here, Kim Hart certainly the more physical of the two players. Sunderman might have the edge on speed, and as I said, Kim Hart puts her down with the elbow. And now Kim Hart coming in all alone, closing out on the back.
Well, Heather Sonderman, a very tall skater, definitely was taken advantage of by Kim Hart. But you saw their kid, Kim Hart, playing to the crowd, doing the little showgirl sizzle out there by herself. As I alluded to earlier, they seem to have taken away some of the attention from the Bod Squad. And I don't know if the Bod Squatters like it. The showgirls are definitely here playing on behalf of their hot guys. I like it.
Well, I don't know that Kim Hart used a lot of good judgment showboating in the middle of a jam when she had nobody for the Quakes coming up. Instead of putting points on the board, she was content on showboating. But right there, she breaks the double block. Great job. Both jammers go through. Mindy Smith following Kim Hart right through it. She certainly recovered. And there you see Stacy Blitz a little unhappy. Now, here's a look at the rules of the WSL. Listen up, you freaks. I'm Mark D'Amato, captain of the New York Enforcers. And I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite ways to hurt people. I call it the screamer. It's my signature move, and the best part, it's legal. Not that I care about the rules, but I like to humor those two-bit referee chumps. The legal way to do the screamer is to stop and turn around, but not to skate against the flow of the pack. Now, I wait for another skater, like that goody good Bill Barker. While my teammates distract him, I line him up, and then I hit him with the screamer. Come on, can we get one more? Hey, get out of my face. The men are on the track as we get ready for period number 2. We've got a barn burner to say the least. We'll be back with a second period right after this. Score of 3-2. The men are on the track, and there's no question it'll be Sean Atkinson and Little Richard. And you can see Captain Sean Atkinson on the track as we are ready to start the second period, starting for the California Quakes. It will be Captain Sean Atkinson, Rusty Montgomery, Eric Slopey, Rick Murray, and Chad Vaughn. For the Hot Dice, Randy Garrett, Christian Salvia, PJ Rossi, Mark Weber, and Micah Martin. And certainly it'll be interesting to see how the Hot Dice deal, as there's Marissa Diamond with the uncontrollable wild man, speaking of course of none other than Sean Atkinson.
Well, with Marissa Diamond out there, I'm always going to know what period it is, Ken, I got to tell you.
That doesn't surprise me. You see all 4 jammers breaking loose. Right now, this is Eric Slopey on the white pony for the California Quakes. Christian Salvia leading for the Hot Dice along with PJ Rossi and Murray. Right now it is Christian Salvia in the lead, battling one of the California Quakes as they come around the corner. Nice move by Salvia to keep his balance for the Quakes. This is Eric Slopey going down, and now Christian Salvia closing in, and both the jammers for the Quakes down. Right now it's Rossi and Salvia closing in for the Dice. Look at Sean Atkinson, a one-man wrecking crew. Salvia against the elbow. Rossi goes into the corner. Now he tees up Salvia again. Sean Atkinson, I'll tell you, he might be one of the most dangerous skaters in the league. Double Texas Bulldog by Sean Atkinson. He might be an enigma, but that is why he is indeed captain of the Quakes.
Well, and Sean Atkinson, earlier in the season, I called him a big blueberry, and he came up to me earlier in the weekend and said, Paul, I don't feel like calling it blueberry, and he definitely has shed a few pounds. And that sleek and lean Sean Atkinson, as you see the double bulldog right here, the Hot Dice go down like a ton of brick snake ass.
Great move by Sean Atkinson. In fact, Atkinson is standing by with our Broadway Danny Wolf.
We all know the Quakes have been struggling lately. You guys went from the king of the pack to now struggling against the Hot Dice. What's the cure? The cure is this, man. Stop farting. Stop doing girls. Get it flipped. The Hack is back.
I don't know, Hawk, but I am suddenly glad that it was Broadway Danny Wolf talking to Sean Atkinson and not you or me.
Well, I feel very safe up here with you, Ken. one of the hot dogs, but then you see later on in the replay, oh, Richard Brown. I can't even take him out, so that hurt me, and I'm up here with you, Ken.
I tell you, little Richard Brown has certainly had a great effect on the hot dice this week. His leadership and coaching, you could question his style of play, but they were sorely missing some leadership. Richard Brown has provided that leadership, and what we're seeing so far, you can't question the results. As right now, the hot dice find themselves territory, doubling up the California Quakes by 6-3. Brian Gallagher now